Hey everybody, it's Tim Miller. I'm here with my buddy JVL, author of the Triad newsletter, which you should absolutely be subscribing to. Go to thebulwark.com to subscribe to it. We've got some news today out of CBS, more updates. Me and Bill Crystal talked about, the latest on, Disney's running fold with Donald Trump, where Disney settled with Trump over George Stephanopoulos, and then Trump sent out a bleat over the weekend basically saying, that was not enough. You need to settle with me again. So you see what you get on these settlements. Anyway, on the CBS side of the ledger, we have news that CBS News president and CEO Wendy McMahon is stepping down from the network. In a memo to staff, she cited leadership differences. Quote, it's become clear that the company and I do not agree on the path forward. I think we all know what that's all about. But JVL, why don't you paint people a picture?
Boy, it's wild, isn't it? So Trump has filed a lawsuit against CBS News and 60 Minutes and Paramount, the allegation being that they ran an interview with Kamala Harris during the campaign.
And edited it?
The video was edited.
So that it could fit within 60 minutes, which is in the name of the show.
Instead of airing 90 straight minutes of just raw footage, they edited it to fit within the confines of a 60-minute television show, which I assume has 16 minutes of commercials in it. And anyway, one of the stupidest things you've ever seen. But of course, it's not really a lawsuit. It is legalized and ritualized bribery. Because what happens is the parent company, it's a shakedown. The parent company is trying to have a merger, Paramount and Skydance. And this has to be approved by the federal government. And having a ridiculous lawsuit is a way for them to pay the person of the president, again, as a private citizen. They're going to pay him as a private citizen so that he can then direct his government to approve their corporate merger. And the best part of it all is that when they settle, in the settlement, I assume a non-disclosure agreement will be wrapped up inside of all of it. So this is really one of those things where Donald Trump has been an innovator in American life, that he's figured out how to use civil litigation to extort government favors. And honestly, I'm amazed that nobody invented this before or realized that you could do this. I feel like Ron Burgundy. I can't believe you ate the whole wheel of cheese. I'm not even mad. And we had the longtime head of 60 Minutes step down a few weeks ago. And today, Wendy McMahon, the head of CBS News. And what this tells me is that the resignations are going all the way up the line. And there are two things I want to talk about, Tim.
Yeah. We should mention the Bill Owens, right? So this is the second top resignation.
Right. That's right. Sorry. Bill Owens had left a couple weeks ago, and now Wendy McMahon. First of all, it is interesting to me that private sector executives and producers have more gumption and willingness to resign in protest than elected representatives in the Republican Party. It's kind of something.
Yeah.
Isn't
or
it?
Top staffers that are instituting the program. We've seen some career staffers quit from the government, but
not political appointees, right?
No.
That's really striking. But I wonder how much of CBS News is going to get burned to the ground on the way to this merger. And that's what I'm curious to hear your take on, because, I wonder what'll be left, right? At some point, people are going to have to somebody's going to have to say, yes, we'll follow along and do this. And I don't know who it's going to be. So far, the people at CBS News are being pretty impressive in their gumption. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for that.
You could see it going a lot of ways, right? So you start from the basis that linear TV is dying, right? Mm-hmm. So CBS as a news brand is dying. And it's in kind of even worse shape really than, the other, networks who have more spin-off opportunities into streaming, into other options. And so, so that decline is happening already. Right. And so then all this controversy is happening in the context of that, right. Which is, Trump shaking them down apparently successfully, as part of this merger. And then, assuming this merger actually goes through. And at this point, there's no reason to not think that this merger will go through, because
Paramount has made clear that they will do whatever it takes.
Right. Yeah. To make it go through. Right. And so then on the other side of that, I guess you could imagine okay, all right, we appeased him, and now we're going to go back to business as usual, and he's going to send mean bleats about us, but he doesn't have any control over us. That's like the best case scenario, right? Yeah. But isn't the more likely scenario that this is just, kind of like any other like hedge fund strip mining of a declining company, for like the remaining assets, right? Like a private equity company coming into to a business that was already declining and just trying to figure out how to squeeze some dollars out of it on the way out. I mean, I just think that's what CBS ends up looking like, right? Like on the back end of this, which is you cut a ton of the overhead and spending, and it is not like it's not becomes like a Fox News style mouthpiece, but it just ends up becoming like kind of a toothless, very.
Why even be in the news business?
Or that.
Right. I mean, if under the new ownership, where what Skydance really wants is Paramount, they're really there for fiction and movies and streaming. They want Paramount Plus. And as you say, it's not like NBC where they have MSNBC, they have a whole network.
Peacock, can be part of a streaming thing.
Like this is all they've got. It's just like the CBS News thing, which is like, 4 different pieces, right? They have a morning show, an evening show, the news magazine, and the Sunday show. Like at some point, like, I don't know, is it worth the trouble?
Yeah, I mean, this is where we, it's good to, like, I would want to get like Dylan Byers or Max Tanney or something, one of these media reporters in, because my guess is that it is still like that those flagship news programs are still making money right now.
Yeah, for now.
Right. And so I guess you would want to like probably keep them. Look, you look at CBS Sunday Morning, right? It's like their soft interview focus show. Like, why not just turn all of CBS News into that? Right. Nobody's going to be mad at you. Trump's not going to be mad. You can do a segment once a quarter on Melania, talks about whatever her interests are, like a BS thing. And then, you'd also have some other soft focus segments on, whatever, doctors, coming up with research coming up with cures to new diseases or all that kind of stuff. Like, why not just turn it all into that where, you're still getting the revenue and you're not getting the risk. And I just think that seems like to be the obvious direction of where along that spectrum they go. I don't know, but the like investigative, holding the administration and power to account. I mean, it seems to me that they're checking out of that business at minimum until the merger and maybe forever.
Yeah. It's hard to see how you put this stuff back together again. And this is a real question. I wonder if the people at CBS at the highest levels, if they understood in 2016 that Donald Trump was an extinction level event for their news division.
Of course not. The opposite. It was Les Moonves with CBS. The guy had said it was going to be bad for the country, but good for our bottom line. Yeah. No, of course not. Of course they didn't.
There's a lesson there, I think.
Oh, yeah. A real lesson. It's related to all the foreign policy stuff that we're doing right now in the Middle East, where everybody's like, oh, we're just going to, if we just change to make the only consideration short-term financial interests. Like if the only thing that we consider is short-term financial interests in every deal that we make, then everything will turn out okay. That's the savvy move.
Yeah. Don't notice that bond rates just went over 5% for the first time since April. Don't worry about the bond market at all.
What a fucking world we're in, JVL. Any other final thoughts on CBS from you?
I feel very, very bad for all of the real journalists.
Me too. There. I'm glad you
because I don't
that.
know what, they have real people doing real important work there. Not all of them. Nobody's perfect, but it's a pretty serious, as these things go, CBS is a pretty serious broadcast network in terms of news and journalism. And there are a lot of people there whose livelihoods are threatened and whose jobs are simply going to, as you said, just go away. That stuff is going to stop happening anymore. And that's bad for them and it's bad for America.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. It is worth saying. And obviously 60 Minutes has done a lot of good stuff, but they do good reporting across the news division there. I mean, a lot of people that are actually doing journalism, but I do think that I I don't think it's an extinction level event like an atomic bomb that's just going to go away. You know, it's just like, to me, it just looks like you end up in an area of managed decline where like the people that face the most acute tough choices are in the division that was supposed to be doing investigation of administration stuff. And like all this other stuff over here, like you're fine if you're investigating Facebook still or investigating, you know, the big banks, right? So like some of that stuff over there is still going to like continue. While the rest of the stuff, you know, gets shoved off, and it's tough. It's a tough one. Well, anyway, there you go. You're good here. No worries at the Bulwark. So subscribe to the feed. We ain't going anywhere, and we'll be back here soon. So we'll see you then. Peace. Hey guys, it's Tim and Sarah. We're here with my frenemy, John Lovett from Love It or Leave It. June is Pride Month, and we're going to be live in D.C. on June 6th for World Pride for a very special live show fundraiser featuring the three of us, plus some gay special guests.
Crooked and the Bulwark will be donating the proceeds from this fundraiser to the Immigrant Defenders Law Center to support Andre Romero, the makeup artist who the Trump administration wrongly disappeared to El Salvador and who is currently being held in Sakat.
Go to crooked.com/events.
And we will see you all on June 6th.